Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to be making a pretty awesome Void 3.0 build around the brand new trace rifle, the Hollow Denial. I finally got this crafted, so, you know, to give it some real use, I wanted to make a really good and strong Void 3.0 build. I was going to use Mantle of Battle Harmony on Warlock, but the problem is that Radiant is so good and so easy to get, even on other subclasses, that there's just no point using Mantle of Battle Harmony right now, because Mantle of Battle Harmony sacrifices your super. It only works for the gun itself, like for whatever weapon matches your subclass, and it's only a 20% damage buff, where Radiant is a 25% damage buff and works with everything regardless of what you're using, and you don't have to sacrifice your super. So because of that, I decided I would just make a really powerful, bulky build on my Titan instead, because I can get Radiant on Void very easily with this weapon. So, the ideal roles for this weapon, there's two roles that I would recommend. The first one I would recommend is this, Enhanced Lead from Gold and Enhanced Killing Tally. This is the one I really like the most, just for general PvE and just for messing around, having fun, running raids and stuff, you know, whatever. But for actual proper endgame content, if you are using Void, I would recommend having Enhanced Adaptive munitions to bust through shields in a single hit. It's honestly insane what trace rifles can do with that perk. And then the new Void perk. I'm not sure what the name is. I don't want to butcher it, so I'm not even going to bother saying it. But you know what I mean. The one that gives you an Overshield when you kill an enemy that's affected by a Void debuff. That one, paired with Adaptive, is pretty insane. It isn't really mainstream yet. Not a lot of people have really tried it, but if you do get the chance to try it, let me know what you think, because I think it was pretty good. But personally, I do prefer this role over that, but both roles can work in different aspects of the game. So, we are going to be focusing around this gun, Void Trace Rifle. The exotic of the day is going to be the Heart of Inmost Light, because this build, as you can see in the title, maybe if I decide to stick with it, this build is going to be a Terminator build, as I like to call it. Pretty much, we are going to be an unkillable tank, and we're just going to be steamrolling through things with this trace rifle, guns blazing, with constant overshields, permanent devour, radiant. It's going to be great. So yeah, the best way to keep insane uptime on our abilities is Heart of Inmost Light, and maintaining the Void Overshield, which we're going to be focusing on a lot in this build, is done a lot easier through our abilities, so everything just kind of cycles together and works hand in hand, right? So, before we get into the mods and anything else, I do want to cover the subclass, because it's pretty straightforward, since there's not a lot of fragments on Void Titans, so yeah. So I am using Ward of Dawn. You don't have to use Bubble, but I just prefer Bubble because it has a very fast cooldown. And it's a nice little bit of damage. And, you know, protection, whatever. I mean, we are meant to be a tank, so we can just, like, roll up on something and bubble it and then just go crazy, right? I'm using Rally Barricade because we want really quick barricade procs. Like, I mean, it's got the fastest cooldown, but I just want something that I can just put down, get my Overshield, and just continue on my trail of destruction. So, Rally Barricade's nice for that. If you want to use Tower and Barricade, go ahead. Doesn't really matter. Then I'm using Shield Throw, because Shield Throw is an instant melee. I don't have to, like, sprint and get my melee ready to actually consume it, because, you know, Heart of Inmost Light requires me to be constantly using my abilities. So, using Shield Bash isn't really an option in this kind of scenario. Having an instant cast melee is a lot more valuable than, you know, something that I have to build up to use. Plus, Shield Throw is pretty strong, and it gives me an Overshield when I hit things. So, that's amazing, right? We want our Overshields, we want to be a tank, we want to be as unkillable as possible. So, getting Overshields every time we hit something with a melee that we get back almost instantly, it's pretty impressive. And then the grenade, honestly, is completely optional. Use what you want. I'm using Vortex Grenades because Vortex Grenades still feel the best. However, you can use Suppression Nades with a different fragment coming up that I personally don't have in my build. But if you want it in the build, Suppression Grenades would work best with that. So, And then we have Bastion, which basically gives me a overshield when I cast my super and my barricade. And also just being near the barricade can regenerate that overshield. And then of course pairing that with the melee, we can also recharge the overshield as well using the melee. So we already have two good abilities that are constantly going to be chaining and cycling through each other that both give overshield, which is just a nice little bit of health to pair with the 100 resilience DR that we have. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I have offensive Bulwark, which means that when I put down my barricade and I get an overshield, my grenade charges faster. And my melee does more damage and has more range, which is awesome. So all three of our abilities are already cycling through each other and helping each other out. Pairing that with Heart of Inmost Light to give them all more damage and more health. The barricade gets more health, right? It all just collides and works. It's perfect. It's like Heart of Inmost Light was built for this subclass. It's phenomenal. So yeah, again, you put down your barricade, you cast your super, you get an overshield, your grenade recharges faster, a lot faster. And it means that we can cycle everything together easier because everything recharges quicker, does more damage, and we have borderline infinite overshield with this, which I think is great. Now for the fragments, this one I really do recommend. Echo of Instability gives you volatile rounds when you get grenade kills. Of course, we're going to be spamming those grenades like it's nothing, along with our other abilities, so we're going to have a lot of volatile rounds for our void weapons. Now, my only void weapon in this build is the Trace Rifle, which is what I want to build the whole thing around, so that's perfect. Having volatile rounds on the Trace Rifle is really strong, because almost every single tick of a Trace Rifle will actually just straight up activate volatile rounds. I'm not sure if that's a bug, but yeah, pretty much every hit of a Trace Rifle that can have volatile rounds will just instantly proc it, and there'll be explosions everywhere. It's great. Then I have picking up an Orb of Power grants Devour. We do have a source of orbs in this build, and Devour is extremely strong because you just get infinite health. You get like 100 health every time you kill something, go right back to full health. And pairing that with the Overshield and the constant ability spam means that we could effectively never die, kind of like Solar with Restoration, except this is a lot easier to keep up because orbs are very easy to get, and Devour does not run out unless you run out of time, but every kill, no matter what it is, with whatever, will extend that regardless. So, Devour, perfect. And then this is actually the optional fragment that I have in here. The one that I am using is Overshield and Devour have increased duration. The reason is because I want to keep that Overshield up as much as possible, and I would like to keep Devour up as much as possible so I don't have to worry about re-proccing it if I let it run out because of the low cooldown, or the low duration. However, you can use this fragment right here, Echo of Domineering, with Suppression Grenades, because what this will actually do is auto-reload your Trace Rifle so that you don't lose Killing Tally. The thing with Killing Tally is that you get a damage buff, and it lasts until you put away the weapon or you reload. However, with that Fragment and Suppression Grenades, especially with the grenade spam that we're doing, and whatever else, you could theoretically throw Suppression Grenades enough that you never have to reload this gun ever, and Killing Tally never runs out. I do like that idea, and I did try it is very good, but I prefer having more Devour and more Overshield, because Killing Tally only takes 3 kills after I reload to max proc, right, to get it maxed out. So I don't really need to worry about having to reload and re-proc it. It's only 3 kills. It's pretty easy to get with a Trace Rifle. But if you want to use that, you can, 100%. And that is the subclass. So, Heart of Inmost Light, infinitely chaining abilities. We get Overshields, we get very fast cooldowns, we get Devour. It's perfect. It works hand in hand with the Hollow Denial, because we've got volatile rounds, we're just shredding through things while spamming our abilities. It's awesome. Now, for the mods, I have multiple sources of actually making wells. I have Melee Wellmaker, which gives me wells on melee hits, or melee kills, sorry. We are going to be throwing our shield a lot, and of course we can use that as a ranged melee, so we can kill things from pretty far away. It does a lot of damage because of offensive Bulwark. That's the wrong subclass. Yep, here. We get more melee damage. So it does a lot of damage. Of course, again, part of Inmost like also increases its damage. So making those wells is going to be quite easy. And then I have elemental armaments as well, just in case I don't end up using my melee for whatever reason. And I'm just shredding with the trace rifle. The trace rifle will also make wells. Now, with those wells, we are going to be getting Well of Tenacity for extra DR. This was buffed in Witch Queen to reach Protective Light level of good. And it does only last like 5 seconds or something, so it doesn't last very long, but it is very nice DR. And to pair that with the 100 resilience is great, because you've got the Overshields, right? And you've got Devour, and then you've got all this DR. You should be very tanky, and you should be basically like a Terminator, and you're just steamrolling things, no problem, destroying everything. And then, I also have Font of Might with these mods as well, with those wells, which is going to increase our Trace Rifle's damage by 25%, and that does stack with Radiant, which we'll get to in a second. So, yeah, we've got Killing Tally, we've got Font of Might, and we've got Radiant up all at once. The Trace Rifle's going crazy, right? Alright, and then we have our Siphon mod. This is the Harmonic Siphon mod, which means it's going to work with our Void weapons that match our subclass. The Trace Rifle is, of course, Void, and it is going to be the main weapon that we're using. So this weapon will create orbs, and with those orbs, we will be getting Recuperation, as well as Radiant orbs. So when we pick up an orb, even if we have a super as well, this will let you pick up orbs, even if you have a super, which is awesome. You will get Radiant for 10 seconds, and every time you pick up an orb, it'll go right back up to 10 seconds. The good thing is because it's orbs, every 2 kills with the Trace Rifle will make a new orb. I pick it up, I get more Radiant. So not only do we have the Overshields and the Devour, we now have Radiant that we can pair with Font of Might, as mentioned, with Killing Tally as well, for a hefty damage buff. And of course, Radiant does work with our other 2 weapons as well. So just picking up orbs will increase whatever else you have here. If you want to use these for DPS or whatever, Radiant is going to be very nice with that. And of course, you know, being on Void, you could use debuffs. If you want to use a debuff as well, like, I mean, I'm personally not. I don't really need it. But if you want to, you can use that with Radiant as well. And everything just kind of works. As for my other mods, I've got resistances, of course, to stay alive a little bit longer. And then I've got things to help out the Trace Rifle, since I am using double special. You know, Lead from Gold helps out the double special economy a lot. And, yeah, so do the mods as well. So, that's the build. Pretty straightforward. Let me know what you think. I'm going to show a bit of gameplay at the end now, just walking through things without a care in the world. I'll never hit the red. Trust me, it really is that good. And there's a lot of ability spam and a lot of Trace Rifle stuff, so yeah, let me know what you think of the build. Hopefully you enjoyed, and adios.